For years, I lied to you. I spent a whole decade standing in front of audiences, posing as an expert, and confidently pushing absolute fringe theories about one of the most violent, terrifying events in recorded history. Welcome to this explainer on the 1908 Tunguska event. I would literally stand on stages, look people in the eye, and declare, the explosion must have been caused by paranormal phenomena. I let my own wild imagination completely override actual scientific data regarding the catastrophic anomaly that slammed into the Siberian wilderness on the morning of June 30th, 1908. To understand why I abandoned all logic, you kind of have to grasp the sheer, terrifying scale of what happened. 9 million. That is the exact number of trees instantly flattened near the Podkameneya Tunguska River, right up north of Lake Baikal in central Siberia. And we're not talking about a small grove getting knocked over by a strong wind. These 9 million trees were leveled outward across a massive 40-kilometer radius. An ancient, incredibly dense taiga forest was turned into a colossal field of splintered matchsticks in less than a single second. The explosion that caused this was over 2,000 times stronger than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. It was visible from 650 kilometers away. People heard it from over 1,000 kilometers away. It was so immensely powerful, it lit up European skies for days with these strange white nights. The nighttime sky glowed with a golden light so fiercely that people in London could literally read books on the street at midnight. Seismographs across the entire planet spiked, and magnetic instruments suddenly pointed the wrong way, as if a completely new North Pole had just popped into existence. Section 1. The 3 Myths and My Decade of Delusion. Because the staggering magnitude of this destruction so completely defied logic, I personally championed 3 wildly irrational explanations. I spread these myths far and wide simply because I thought the truth was totally inadequate for an explosion of this magnitude. Myth number 1. The alien UFO and rescue capsule crash. Witnesses actually reported seeing a massive glowing ball, twice the size of the sun, with a jagged, sparking tail. Instead of looking at basic physics, I actively peddled the idea that the blast was an alien rescue capsule crashing into the Earth. And when people pushed back on that, I offered an even wilder alternative. I claimed the Earth's atmosphere itself was a sentient planetary defense weapon, gathering magnetic energy for days just to fire a massive beam at an incoming interstellar enemy. Moving on to myth number 2, Nikola Tesla's 10-megaton directed energy weapon. When I wasn't blaming alien tech, I firmly believed that Nikola Tesla used the Earth's ionosphere to test a 10-megaton directed energy weapon. I'd go around telling people Tesla created 2 devices, sending one signal through the atmosphere and another through the ground, that perfectly intersected north of Baikal to trigger the catastrophic blast. And myth number 3, the Soviet nuclear experiment. I completely bought into the post-World War II theory that Soviet scientists had triggered a secret, catastrophic nuclear test. To me, it just sounded like the ultimate geopolitical cover-up. The very first crack in my delusional beliefs happened when I finally sat down and compared the physical reality of the site to that nuclear theory. Think about it. The Tunguska blast was 1,000 times stronger than early atomic bombs, yet it left absolutely zero radioactive signature, none. Furthermore, instead of turning into a barren, irradiated wasteland, the local flora actually thrived, growing back thicker and much more vibrant than before the explosion. Then I actually took the time to study geologist Leonid Kulik's 1920s expeditions. Kulik went out to Siberia expecting to find a massive gaping crater and huge chunks of meteoric iron. But what he actually found completely shattered those expectations. He discovered a radial blast zone where the trees at the very epicenter were completely stripped of their branches, but still standing perfectly upright, kind of like telegraph poles. He found shallow pools of water, but absolutely zero space rocks. No crater, no iron chunks, literally nothing visible to support a physical impact. Section 2, the hard evidence, and what finally ended up changing my mind. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how concrete scientific data finally shattered my decade of delusions. The absolutely irrefutable proof came from the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine in Kyiv. They took microscopic samples straight from the Tunguska site and analyzed them using highly advanced transmission electron microscopes. You see, they weren't looking for massive boulders. They were looking down at the microscopic level. And guess what? They found the exact unmistakable chemical signature of ironstone meteorite dust embedded incredibly deep inside the area's samples. Modern computer simulations took that exact dust and successfully modeled the physical reality of what happened. Step 1. A skyscraper-sized asteroid estimated at 50 meters in diameter hit our atmosphere at a terrifying 15 kilometers per second. Step 2. It faced immense, crushing atmospheric friction. Step 3. Total vaporization. That intense friction completely tore the massive asteroid to shreds, vaporizing it exactly 10 kilometers above the Siberian ground. And that specific altitude is the key to the entire mystery. It perfectly explains why there was never a crater. The sheer downward force of the thermal and shock waves flattened millions of trees and instantly melted the rock completely in the sky. The asteroid literally dissolved into the blast wave. I abandoned my conspiracy theories for good because the hard truth is infinitely more terrifying. According to NASA data, an impact of this staggering magnitude happens, on average, once every 300 years. It has already been well over a century since Tunguska. We are currently living in a statistical window where a skyscraper-sized rock could vaporize 10 kilometers above a heavily populated city tomorrow. World space agencies are urgently building technology to detect these threats, but the clock is ticking. So I leave you with this. Where will the next one strike?